Are you listening? Damn.
Welcome to the Thursday edition of the AFC North Talk here with everybody Q, Ace, Tony, and myself, Sonny here. Ready to get this started. By the way, before the stream, somebody asked, are these guys going to be late? Of course you're going to be late.
Yes, we are.
We are the Fugees.
Minutes late today, so that's pretty on time. That's actually on time. You know,
we are the Fugees of the NFL YouTube world. I don't know why y'all come here at 4:30 on the dot expecting this. Nah, man, we come in just a little bit late. You know what I mean?
Who
you
was
go
the
to
coach?
Outcast and they come on time, right? Like,
who was the coach that would fine you if you didn't show up 5 minutes early for a meeting? Was that Parcells?
Shanahan? No.
Like Jack Del Rio. It sounds
the
like
Giants guy.
The Giants guy.
Oh,
Tom Coughlin.
There you go, Ace. There you go, Ace.
We would never make it. We would never make it on a Tom Coughlin team.
Look, this is why if you hit the bell, you can chill a little bit more. And as soon as, because that's what we had that minute for when we go live, you get informed, and then your time to come in. As soon as you come in, you hit that like before anything, right? You hit that like before anything happens, and then you keep rolling. Also, again, I'm throwing polls as we're discussing topics, and let's get this thing started. Ace, first topic: are the Bengals going 4-1? Good game this week. So let me know, what do you think?
So I'm looking at this game to start things off, and obviously it's the Green Bay Packers, right? So I'm watching and getting an early scouting report from watching the Steelers and Packers game last week. And the first thing that I find out, because before this, I think while the game was on, or while our game was on, or while the other games were on Red Zone, I wasn't able to keep up with what was going on over there. I actually was more tuned into the Browns game for a little bit. But the one thing that I heard was, Jair Alexander is out. And I'm like, Jair Alexander, how is that possible? I already knew that the defensive edge rusher for them, it was already out as well. And then I hear that. And so the first thing that happens in my head is the Bengals are getting some pretty good breaks. I mean, to be able to play the Steelers without TJ Watt and Deontay Johnson, to be able to play the Packers defense without Alexander as well as Zadarius Smith, those are two big losses, I think, for that team. But at the end of the day, you are going against Aaron Rodgers. Coming into this game, this Packers offense, I will say, even though they're immensely talented, they are kind of restricted on how many weapons Aaron Rodgers has, right? It's pretty much Devontae Adams, Aaron Jones, maybe if you consider the tight end, I think maybe he's a guy, but there's not many other guys that really scare you. But the thing is, they're very good at what they do, right? Devontae Adams, probably the best wide receiver in the league, according to the consensus out there. And then you talk about Aaron Jones, he's no slouch at all as well. The thing that gives me some confidence in this game as a Bengals fan is the one way that you can beat this team is that it comes down to the quarterback, right? You got Aaron Rodgers, but we also have Joe Burrow. And I think the other factor is the fact that they're so wounded at the corner position with Jair out of there. And the Bengals have three guys, these three guys. And I'm looking at it and I'm looking at this Green Bay defense and I'm like, who is going to guard these guys for Green Bay? And I think that that's what it comes down to. Like anytime you take on a team like the Bengals, like the Cowboys, like the Buccaneers, guys that have all of these weapons, you have to have guys on the other side of the defense that can stop them. So I think that this Bengals offense can definitely get running through the air, especially with Joe Mixon out. With Joe Mixon out, I think that it actually opens up this Bengals offense a little bit more in the passing game if they are able to use a guy like Chris Evans, but they've got to be able to do it. The thing that scares me in this game, though, is you do have Aaron Rodgers. And even though you're playing him at home, and this game isn't at Lambeau, it's at Paul Brown, you can't afford to get off to a slow start like you did this past week against Jacksonville, that Bears game. That's been something that the Bengals have struggled with. Joe Burrow came out and said it himself. We're a second-half team. or we're a one-half team. And the Bengals cannot afford to be like that. And Joe Burrow came out and said it. We can't do what we did last week in Jacksonville because we'll be down 21-0 by the halftime. And so I think that the Bengals, in order to take over this game, they've got to be able to score early and often. I think that they can against a defense with them missing so many opportunities. But on defense, this defense has to step up as well. The Bengals have been playing pretty solid defense to start the season. They're getting Jesse Bates back. They're getting some other guys back. We still have to see whether or not Cheeto is going to play. The Cheeto factor is huge because Devontae Adams is going to get his. Let's just be real. He's going to get his. But you got to at least try to limit him. You can't have the game plan be that Eli Apple is going to be guarding Devontae Adams because that's going to be barbecue chicken all night long in that game or all day long. But I do feel like if this Bengals defense can try to limit Devontae Adams and concentrate on Aaron Jones, I think you let anybody else do whatever on that Packers team because there's nobody else that really scares you. And I think if Von Bell and some of these guys on defense, Trey Hendrickson, I think that's another big factor, right? Because when you look at this Packers team, they've got some injuries on the offensive line. Bakatari isn't in for this game. They have backing him up. I'm not sure what he would be able to do against Trey Hendrickson, but I think that is going to play into the Bengals' hands there. Now, when we talk about the defensive line of this Packers team, even though they are missing Zadarius Smith, you still have Rashawn Gary. You still have Preston Smith out there. So they still have some guys that can definitely make some moves. And in the secondary for them, even though their corners are out, they do have some solid safeties. But I do expect them to still try them deep, especially with a guy like Jamar Chase. But I feel like if the Bengals attack this defense with short passes, with screens, with Joe Burrow matching Aaron Rodgers, I think that the Bengals can end up stealing one here from the Packers. And I think if the Bengals win this game, I think they're for real. Like if they actually pull this off in any form or fashion, they are legit. But this is the benchmark. You got Aaron Rodgers coming in. It's about Burrow and Rodgers. It's about the GOAT from the past versus an ascending quarterback. Is he going to really be able to step his game up and come into it just like he did against the Jaguars and just like he's done in some of these games? And I think that this is going to be a great test for it. And I think that the Bengals actually will squeak out a win because Jair Alexander is not playing. Zadarius Smith is not playing. I think that bodes well for the Bengals. And I don't think that the Packers have a strategy to stop the Bengals receivers.
Mixon is out, you said?
You said Mixon? Yes, Mixon is out. Mixon will be out this game.
Let me go to some super chats that we have here before I throw it to you, Q. Q, how the heck do you let a Steelers fan know more about injury status of your QB? Oh, jokes. Love the pod. Go Browns.
Well, first of all, Tony is a secret Browns fan. Let's not forget that.
Yeah,
Second of all, Tony has watched a decade of Big Ben, who like every time he gets hurt, it's the biggest deal in the world. The Big Ben. Baker's a little different. He'll break a rib and just be like, "Oh no, I'm fine. You know, I can breathe, so I'm throwing the ball." Like he just doesn't sell it. I thought he just popped his shoulder out. That's how it was portrayed to us. He tore his labrum. What?
Well, have you followed this at all on Twitter at all?
I followed some of it. There's some Twitter doctors that like I'm just gonna take their word that they're credentialed, but I'm like whatever, right? There seems to be some people who are like, oh, well, it's not a stone shoulder. There seem to be some people who are like, no, that really does affect. I'm just gonna assume you tear anything, it's gonna affect you a little bit, right? I didn't know he tore something. I thought he pulled something or like he had a bruise something. He tore it. It might make sense of why, but I don't know. Some of his misses weren't really because he wasn't accurate. Well, it wasn't because he wasn't.
So Steelers.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah. Well, I think okay. So here's the thing. We talk about Baker's injury. I read a lot about it today because I was obviously as someone who said on
you're
times
you're a Browns
like,
fan,
no, he's
dude.
hurt. So when they said, no, he's hurt, it's like, oh, okay. Well, how right was I? Now here's
What you guys don't know is Tony is subscribed. I don't know any Browns blogs, but Tony subscribed to all those Browns blogs, and he gets.
Well, I subscribe. Listen, I'm subscribed to a lot of Ravens. Again, as you guys know, when the Ravens and Browns lose, and even the Bengals, I watch a lot of content that week. I watch a lot of blogs, so I'm ready. I'm prepared. I got
been a rough couple of weeks for you, huh?
Guys, I got a lot of free time. I was able to watch all of Squid Game this week. Great show, by the way.
That is a good show.
Okay, so in reading about his injury, they say that it's non-throwing shoulder, and they say number one, if you pop your arm out of your socket, you're going to tear it in some way. They say, right? You can't pop it out and not tear it even a little bit. But everybody, what I've kept reading today is people saying like, no, this has nothing to do with any of the accuracy. Sources within the team say this has nothing to do with any of the accuracy issues, any of the problems we've seen from Baker over the past 2 weeks, to which I just have to laugh. Look, I get that, the Browns fans and the Browns media want to believe like, no, this team, like, Baker's not hurt, he'll be fine. And I think in reading about what, the labrum thing, it's not going to require surgery. And so it'll heal throughout the year and he'll probably get better. But no, I mean, look, it was there are like 3 reasons why you could be that inaccurate. In Ben's case, you just get old, baby, father time, right? Or, you can be like in an offense where you don't understand like where people are supposed to be, right? Kind of that out of sync nature of like in a new offense, or you're hurt, right? I mean, that's like, what are the other reasons for just wild inaccuracy like that? So, again, I'm not going to say like I'm a doctor here. Like, it's just Dr. for me, when I see a quarterback become that inaccurate kind of overnight, he's not Baker Mayfield, to my knowledge, is not 39 years old yet, and he's not playing in a new offense. So that leaves one option. He's probably hurt.
So Steelers Nation 412 says, so Ben is hurt again, but Tomlin still wants him on the field. Now Ben says his belly is black and blue.
He did. I don't know if you guys saw that. He limped out. He limped, he's walking so gingerly to his media thing, and then he's talking about how it's real black and blue. It's real bad. My hip is real bad. Cool, man. Bro. Cool, man. He's got a bruise. He's got a bruise. He
must feel like he could get some. Like I know Big Ben well enough that like he must feel like he can exploit something.
Yeah.
In the secondary, he's gonna in the Broncos secondary this week. Because it's the only time he plays up the injuries, when he feels like he can play good the next week. So he can be like, see guys, I'm tough.
First play from scrimmage is going to be a deep ball down the sideline. Just book that one. I don't know if that's a prop you can play anywhere, but if you can, go ahead and book that one today. Because
when Claypool on your fantasy team, he's going to go deep this week.
Well, we'll see if Claypool plays. We'll talk about that in the Steelers thing. They have some injuries at wide receiver.
Bengals have won 3 out of the last 4 games against Green Bay, and the loss came in overtime. Shout out to you, Jerry. Thank you for the donation.
Ooh. Although they only play every once every 4 years, right? And 4 years ago, when we all played them, that was the year Rodgers got hurt. I think we all got the luxury of not playing against Aaron Rodgers 4 years ago.
We played Brent Huntley, and we took the 0-16 Browns. The 0-16 Browns took that Green Bay team to overtime. If it weren't for like 5 Deshaun Kaiser interceptions or something like that, which, by the way, Green Bay signed him after watching him do that. Man, we would have been 1-15.
Bengals, I think, were the last team that Aaron Rodgers had to beat to at least beat every team in the NFL once, and it was a crazy game. It did go into overtime.
Really? Okay,
Chicken Leg Piece says, Q, love the contact, man. We gonna whoop the Chargers. Okay, like the confidence. And then I think this is the last super chat, if I didn't miss anyone. Brett Watson says, I can see OBJ and Baker connecting multiple times Sunday and putting the chemistry talk. The chemistry talk. Okay.
It was funny, too, because we kind of put the rest of chemistry talk like a week ago when he came back and we're like, oh yeah, no chemistry talk anymore. And then Baker airmails a couple of throws when he's been airmailing them all day. Is it Odell? Oh my God,
they hate each other.
Odell.
Baker and Odell hate each other.
No, here's what you need to know. They spend time. This is what you need to know about that connection. They spend time on the phone together. Odell said they talk together. They watch film together. And here's the most important part: they play the Call of Duty together. Now, look, it's only elite. I've only invited one person on this show to play Call of Duty with me, so I know that is an elite connection. So, if that is true, that they have played squads and Warzone together, if they play Search and Destroy, if they played Search and Destroy together, hardcore, like no respawns, Baker and Odell about to get 600 next week.
I would say this: I had people asking me, "Oh, you play Call of Duty?" Play Warzone. I'm like, if you want to die quick, I can play with you.
It takes trust. They both must be very good at that game to play with each other, because I know Odell's good, and I heard Baker's really good from some people I know on Twitch. But when you're good, you don't want to play with nobody who's ass at the game, because that's not fun.
Just takes one guy. Yeah, it just takes one guy to bring your team down.
Can you buy me out the gulag? No, bro. No, bro. I'm good.
Kiso, what do you think about this Bengals? Are they going 4-1?
Okay. I think this will be a close game. I think this will be a good game. I don't think there's going to be a bad showing by the Bengals. I do lean towards the side of Green Bay probably pulling this one out just because even if Cheeto does play, I don't think there is a sufficient answer there in that secondary for just the way that Devontae Adams gets open. I know that Jesse Bates is going to be a factor in that, but like the way you would use Jesse Bates versus the way you would use a Devontae Adams, they don't really match up a ton in their usages, so it's not really going to be something that affects them. Is Zadarius Smith going to be back for this game? Because also, you know, so there's no Zadarius Smith, so there's no real threat of that pass rush being like something that's going to be in Joe Burrow's face all day. So the Bengals are going to be able to get off points here. Every time I say this, it ends up being a low scoring affair. But I do expect this to be kind of more of a shootout, just because I think both offenses are going to be able to get going here. Jamar Chase is somebody who I think is probably going to have another big game here. He's had a big game almost every game that he's played so far. So, you know, he's probably going to go off here. I don't expect that CJ Uzomah carries the offense again like he did last week. But he's proven to be a reliable piece there at tight end, a starting level tight end there. And, you know, the Bengals are a good team. I just don't think they're at this point yet to where they're going to pull this off versus the Green Bay Packers. Now, I could be surprised. It is a home game. And, you know, the jungle seems to be back for Cincinnati as if last week was any indication. So, you know, I know the fans are excited. That might be able to give them a little bit more of a chance here. But I just think that Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers, you kind of, if you're a team like the Bengals, you know, not that you're a bad team, but it's like if you need to beat the Packers, you need to make almost no mistakes in order to do so. I don't know if they're at that point at this point in the season. Maybe if this game were happening week 13 when they had more wins and more experience under the belt, I would feel more comfortable picking them. But as of right now, I have to go with the Packers.
I will say this before I throw it to Tony. Last week, the jungle was, you know, buzzing or roaring, I guess. But its royalty was there. The ace was there. That's what happened. The ace was there.
Gave y'all a section there, boy.
Yeah. So they obviously they came from your boy Ace. Anyway, Tony, what do you think about this game?
Yeah, you know, we talked about Jair Alexander being out. I think that you have to. It's not just that Alexander is a very, very good corner, and that is going to be a big part of this game. But the other, you know, kind of the domino effect there, because Eric Stokes, who the Packers drafted last year, has been pretty good this year. It's the other guy who has to come in now because Alexander's not going to play, and it looks like Kevin King is going to be healthy, and Kevin King is going to play this game. And for those of you who watched the Packers last year, you will know Kevin King is horrible.
Real question: you take King or Apple?
I would take any corner in the NFL. Right? I would. What's this guy's name? Bond. I would take Bond over Kevin King.
Bond's not even.
No. I would take Bond. I would take Bond right now over Kevin King. Kevin King's awful. You know, he reminds me a lot of Artie Burns. That he just gets lost so often. You just can't. He's just the kind of corner that you cannot trust, and it kind of ruins your whole defensive game plan because anything you want to do that's kind of disguising or anything that's out of the ordinary, you just cannot trust Kevin King in those moments. Look. The thing about this game that if I'm a Bengals fan today that worries me is this idea that he is. He's a very tall corner. Yeah. He's like 6'4", right?
Him.
Yeah,
6'3". If people fall in love with these damn tall corners, they're never that good. Like it's like Richard Sherman and like Cam Chancellor. And Cam's not even a corner; he's a safety, but still, But you know, it's just, they fall in love with these tall corners, and they never ever have the hips to ever do anything. But I digress.
Yeah, I'm with Ace on this one. I think that the Bengals, their game plan in this one, I know they've been more conservative to start the year this year, you know, kind of easing Joe back into the offense, get Mixon involved, get this running game going and try to be more balanced. You know, I'm on the let Joe cook train at this point, especially in a matchup like this. Because I think you can exploit that matchup. Again, I think that, you know, if Zach can exploit some things to specifically on King's side, wherever he's going, I think Higgins is back in this game, right? T. Higgins will play. So exactly. So no matter where, it's not even like you're gonna have a good matchup wherever King is on the field. And I would be trying to eat in that. I will say, Ace, you talked about, you know, the weapons for the Packers offensively are pretty much Devontae Adams and Aaron Jones. And while that is true, their tight end has been a monster in the red zone. And then don't sleep on Randall Cobb, right? Don't sleep on Randall Cobb. That connection. I know Randall Cobb is old, busted, and everything.
He's
but
got some red zone productivity.
Yeah, exactly. No, him and Rodgers still have that connection. The Steelers found out last week, shutting down Devontae Adams is fine, but he'll just find Cobb and make good things happen. So, I think this is gonna be an intriguing game. Now, Quince talked about it being a shootout. Vegas has the over/under in this game at 51.5. I think this is gonna be lower scoring. I do think Zach Taylor's not gonna let Joe cook. I think he's gonna want to come out. The easy way to beat a good quarterback, especially when you have a good defense, and the Bengals right now defensively have played well. Run the ball, shorten the game, shorten your exposure.
Mixon's not there though.
Mixon's not there. I understand Mixon's not there.
No. Tony believes that Captain America is the better running back.
Don't get me started on Chris Evans. We're not going to derail.
I think this is the Chris Evans game.
I love Chris Evans.
I
love Chris Evans. P. Ryan's not bad, but Chris Evans is a massive running back sleeper that is coming true.
I don't like.
I'll take the Packers in this one. The Packers are favored by 3. I'll take the Packers in this one. I think this is the toughest matchup the Bengals have had so far, and I think I know a lot of us on this show are probably going to pick against the Bengals on this one, but I do think Bengals fans I think it speaks volumes the fact that we're not talking about this game as if Packers are going to win this one for sure, right? I think we're all saying there are real chances for the Bengals here. For me, I don't trust that Zach Taylor is going to come into this game with the right mindset. I think in this one, you have to kind of say, we're going to go out there and beat Aaron Rodgers rather than you're not going to lose. And I think a young coach like that in a big moment like this, I think he's going to probably err on the side of caution and play not to lose. And I think that's, when you play not to lose against Aaron Rodgers, you lose, unfortunately.
Okay, so let me say this. Timing in the NFL is everything, right? Timing. The Bengals, everything is lining up for the Bengals. And Tony, I disagree. I mean, right now, 2 people here pick the Bengals. So even if I don't pick the Bengals, that's half of the podcast. But Bengals playing on Thursday night at home. So they didn't have to fly back home. Staying there, right? Mini bye to get the Packers. Packers play a Steelers team that we all know how they're struggling still. Really good defense, so it's not like a gimme game. And then the injuries that's happening to the Packers on the defensive side, but the Bengals are set up to be an explosive offense, and then you don't even have your best rusher. So the Bengals O-line, which has been playing better, so we don't talk enough about the Bengals offense, how pretty good they've been playing against a defensive line that has not been great. Look, Tony, correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't the Steelers have the best graded O-line this week? Not like meaning for all their 4 games. Wasn't this one of their best games against the Packers?
The Steelers offensive line. Yeah, this was the one game that they played above the line.
Don't make mistakes. It has to do with the D-line they were playing. That D-line right now is not playing great. Darius Smith is a disruptor because Darius Smith can. I mean, obviously, ex-Baltimore Raven. He can rush from the outside. He can rush from the inside. They move him all around. So if they can protect Joe Burrow, and that secondary right now is hurt as well, that offense for the Bengals looks pretty good to put the points. The question that I have is, are they going to be too one-dimensional on the passing side that then now can the Packers can scheme out and basically force them to run, and then the Bengals keep forcing the throw, right? Even with that, I don't see how they can stop the offense. And on the other side, me personally have not been that impressed about this Packers offense. So actually, believe it or not, I think the Bengals should win. It's not that they could, they should. If they are that team that they're talking about moving into the playoff picture, right? And we were joking before because currently the Bengals are first in the AFC North. But if they're that team coming from a mini bye, against a team that came from a hard-fought game, against a team also full of injuries in their secondary and in the places where the Bengals can exploit, everything is set up for the Bengals to be tilted in the side for them to win. So I actually think if they lose, it should be a disappointment for them. So I don't know. That's what I think. The poll here says the Bengals, 63% of people say no, as they are going to lose this game. There's a couple super chats here that came quickly. Let me go back because I think there's Wesley, thank you for your donation. I don't see any questions. If you guys see the question later, let me know.
Yeah, Wesley, if you just put your message in chat, and we will get to it.
Just at AFC North, so one of us can see it.
Yep.
Nick says, are any of you going to any games this year? Well, again, Ace went to the game
Wins
last.
one.
Yeah.
I might have to go to another one. I wish I was going to this one. This one would be a good one to go to.
Well, for me, it's a little hard to go to any games this year. So
they don't have any London games this year. The Ravens don't have any London games this year.
The Ravens.
Yeah,
don't.
and I did the season ticket thing before, and not for me. Not for me. The season ticket thing.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I'll probably be going to a Steeler game in December of this year.
Go to the Browns one because they never win when you go.
I've been trying to convince the wife to go to that one, and the timing doesn't work out with like time off and everything. So we're probably not. So I apologize. We're probably going to go to the Tennessee game.
Oh, you guys gonna blow that one instead?
Actually, she's never, but she's been to 2 Steeler games already. She's never seen the Steelers lose. So she was there on the Antonio Brown reach. Actually, I have that right there. But yeah, the reach over the goal line. Sonny, you remember that one? The reach over the goal line?
No.
On Christmas Day?
No, that's
might have been your favorite.
Yeah, I remember they put that in the StubHub commercial for like 3 years after that.
We were at that game.
By the way, Ace, I was thinking of you during that Jaguars game because it looked like they were about to go at 21. I was like, I remember last time this man went to a game, it was like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers or something.
It was the 49ers, bro. It was. He
told me he spun a bag.
Yes. Yes.
I did. To go.
And this was this was like the 49ers the year that they drafted Nick Bosa, right? So I didn't see it coming because they were like a 4-win team the season before, and that was just the season where the 49ers were just running through everybody. That's the season they went to the Super Bowl. And so they just came out and murdered us. Like those running backs were super fast. That was not a pleasant experience at all.
If it makes you feel better, I remember the Browns played the 49ers on Monday night that year, and I was on a podcast with the Nothing But Niners guys, and I was just like, yeah, Baker's going to blow them out. It's not even going to be close. I don't think you guys could stop him. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we got all this weapons and stuff, and they were like, oh, really? They were just looking at me like I was crazy. I was like, why are you guys looking at me like this? You guys stink. And then the 49ers laid one of the most thorough ass whippings I had ever seen on the Cleveland Browns on Monday Night Football. It was thorough. That was the game where Richard Sherman picked off Baker and lied about, oh, he didn't shake my hand or something like that. But yeah, it was a thorough ass whipping.
Update, my wife just texted me. I guess she's watching the show. She said, we can go to the Browns game. It'll depend if it matters. So sounds like I'll be in the Titans game.
It'll matter.
If you want to go to a game that matter, you might want to hurry that one up.
Buffalo. Listen, a time travel machine and straight to Buffalo, New York, please.
It'll be like that Bengals Dolphins game where they were trying to decide who was going to pick number 1.
Okay, so we have two more super chats here. Coop0021 says, told you guys last live stream, Baker has a partially torn labrum in left shoulder. As a former pitcher, I know the left arm anchors a throw as you pull it down. That's why he's sailing passes high so much.
Question
hilarious.
Question for Coop, and you don't have to do this as a super chat, but I do want to know because I've been reading like this. Okay, he doesn't need surgery on it though, right? I mean, like this is just going to heal over time, is what I've read. Is that I know he's more familiar with the injury. Is that true? You don't have to put that in the super chat. Just in chat, I'll see it.
By the way, that makes sense with how the play calling's been because like people have noticed the Browns haven't been doing a lot of play action boots or a lot of like rollouts with them. If you got a torn labrum and you're scared that he's gonna like get it fully torn and then you're gonna have to go to Case Keenum, it makes sense that they're not trying to get him hit as much. So some of the things I'm frustrated with the play calling at least makes a little bit more sense here. But I just think it's gonna be hilarious because like what if he comes out after all this talk and just uncorks like one of those games that he had against the Bengals or like like where he just the broke rib. We talked about that all week, and then he has one of his most accurate performances in his career. It'd be hilarious if he does it.
Okay, so Mischief Culture here says, would love to talk more with Ace about the Bengals' hot start this season later on. I think the Bengals could run 4-1, but Aaron Rodgers is playing at an MVP level.
Joe Burrow's not playing too bad himself, though. That's what I'm saying.
Rodgers.
Wait, are you ready to say it, Ace?
I'm not saying he's Aaron Rodgers.
Joe VP?
But Joey
I don't know.
Is definitely special. That's what I will say. He's definitely special.
Are we going Joe VP?
You'll be.
I think that he can go toe to toe with Rodgers. Yes. Am I saying he's better than him? I'm not going to say that, but I think he is capable of going toe to toe with Aaron Rodgers.
Okay. And Ira here says, shout out to you for thinking for the nation. Time of possession will be huge. Got to keep that ball away from Rodgers. I think going blow for blow with the Packers is a mistake.
Can't be scared, man.
See, this,
You
yeah,
can't be
I'm
gonna
with
say,
Dave.
nah,
I think this is the
you
wrong
gotta
game plan.
shoot it. You gotta shoot
Yeah,
that
I
thing
think you got
because
to
if
plan
you
for the shootout.
here's what happens when you do that garbage when you're like, oh, we're gonna keep the ball away from elite quarterback. You just give him the ball with 2 minutes left,
Right.
and he scores on you
And he scores.
anyways.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, let's keep it close and win it late. You know, guess
Nah.
who's gonna win it late?
Yeah.
Shoot that
Spoilers.
thing out and hope that you get a turnover and they don't, and you win the game. That's
They
how
need
you
to
gotta do
come
this
guns
thing,
and
man.
blazing. They need to come guns and blazing and just take the
Go.
game over.
Let Joe cook. I mean, it's the way to win this game. Play aggressive.
They need to run NBA offense with Jamar Chase. Just have him in motion all pre-snap. People run his screens for him until he gets on Kevin King and then just throw a deep ball up and 50-50 ball Kevin King. He gonna get it on his head. Like
Well, T is pretty good at the deep ball too. I remember
T.
last year he
Higgins,
was he was good down the sideline, a little
and
more
Bo-
physical.
yeah.
But, yeah,
That's true. I was gonna say Boyd, but Boyd plays in the slot more.
yeah, boy, just like
They are susceptible over the middle, so I think Boyd could do some damage this game too.
This defense is not good. This defense is like
it's
I
not.
thought the Steelers, not to hash last week, but I thought the Steelers were gonna do more on offense because I thought like this defense ain't that great. So anyway,
and by the way, you know, you watch the tape, like the Steelers had their chances. Ben
They did.
missed so many throws last
I
week.
did briefly have a conversation with T. Higgins about that game in the club. He was pretty excited to try to jump in that game. I did have a conversation with him about it. So obviously they're not going to be like, oh, we're scared to play Aaron Rodgers, but they definitely were kind of hyped for this game.
Yeah.
Okay. So guys, the next poll is out. For
This
the
might be,
Browns.
by the way, this might be the last time. Maybe. We'll put it at 50% chance. This is the last time the Bengals will play Aaron Rodgers. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well,
We'll see.
no.
We'll see.
Not if he goes
Yeah,
to
but-
Pittsburgh.
Well, we'll see. That's why I said 50-50. Hey, it's a 50-50
get-
chance. We'll see.
They're winking.
Oh,
8-7.
Aaron Rodgers. I don't know why we doing this. We know Aaron Rodgers is an asshole at times. You know he's out here flirting with Pittsburgh. Just be like, watch him react when I retire next year. Like
I watched. So Brian
you know what he'll do? He'll visit Pittsburgh in the offseason too, act like he's gonna sign there, and then he will retire. And he'll be like, what?
He'll end up on Jeopardy. He'll be like, no,
So-
I'm good.
He'll go
Brian-
Miami.
He'll
Brian
end up in the
McFadden-
booth with Tony Romo.
Brian McFadden does a podcast with Patrick Peterson, and McFadden was giving out the theory of like, hey, you know, I think he's going to Pittsburgh. McFadden is a former Steeler, still well connected in the league. Obviously, does a podcast with Patrick Peterson, and Patrick Peterson, who's in the league right now, scoffed and just said, "Listen, Rodgers is going to Denver next year. There's no doubt, right? And you know that the players talk. There's inside talk about that. That was the rumor all off season that that's where he wants to go. So
They had the weapons too on offense.
But they got Drew Lock, guys. They got Drew
yeah, no, that's right. Yeah. Well, if Drew Lock can't beat out Teddy Bridgewater, I think.
But Teddy Bridgewater had the best QBR in the NFL for like 3 weeks.
Wow.
Tony, you want to
True.
read the super chat?
Yeah, well, we got this one. I think I don't know if David was the one that sent this on Tuesday, but I think we got this exact super chat on Tuesday. The Steelers are 2-8 in their last 10 games. Jets 3-7. 3 is greater than 2, and therefore the Jets are greater than the Steelers. Wow.
Okay.
There you go.
I didn't
All
know
right.
that
Not that
fact.
bad for the Steelers.
Little
It's
MMA
just
math
one
for you
game.
there. I like the MMA math.
Ace, what do you think about the Browns game? You think this Browns are
This
going to be
is-
on par?
This was a tough game to pick. Like on the surface, when you look at it, you just think, Justin Herbert, Baker Mayfield, 2 good offenses coming into this game. But when you really dig deep and really look at this game, I think that this actually plays into Cleveland's hands. I think when you look at the run defense for the Chargers, that is something that is a weakness that they have. And we all know the Browns have probably the most explosive running back combo, in the league. It's pretty obvious. You talk about the run blocking, you talk about themselves. We all know that the Browns run the ball. I think that this bodes well for them because it's kind of 2 different teams in terms of their philosophies offensively. The Chargers are just going to pass pretty much the entirety of the game. But I think that this is a game, especially with Baker having the issues last week, that they get back to being that team that they are, which is running the ball. And the funny thing is that both of these teams have scored 42 points in the second quarter this season and 30 plus in the fourth quarter. So I think this is a game that could start to heat up. It could start kind of slow and then start to heat up in the second and the fourth quarter. The interesting thing about LA, though, is for the entire season, they have only scored, I believe it's 3 points. I think it's in the third quarter this entire season. So in every single game, out of all of them, they only have 3 points in that third quarter. And I think that that's an area where Cleveland will definitely be able to pounce on them. And I just think that the run defense for Cleveland, even though they don't allow much, that's not really what the Chargers are doing, right? They're going to, for the most part, pass more to Austin Eckler than they are going to run with him. Now, the one thing that is interesting, though, is I have a hard time kind of gauging Cleveland when it comes to their injuries, because they always have these massive injury reports, and they have guys that are like, all right, did not practice, but you don't know if these guys are actually going to end up playing, because in a few days, certain things change. So when I see things like Greg Newsome and these guys and a whole bunch of the members of their secondary, I don't know whether these guys are playing or not. But I'm going to assume that they will play. And I think that they actually match up pretty decent against this trio of receivers that they actually have. And when I say trio, I'm talking about Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, and surprisingly, Jared Cook, who I did not know was apparently having a solid season for them. And then you throw in Eckler. Mike Williams, I was surprised to find out that he has 4 touchdowns this season. So I think obviously the Browns have the corners to stick with this team. But I think what they have to do to win this game is just get back to running the ball. And when you talk about the edge rushers that the Chargers defense has, they have Joey Bosa, obviously, so they're going to have to try to make sure they limit him. I don't know what's going on with the line, but I would assume that he would go against Conklin and not Wills if Wills does play. And then you've got Derwin James, and then you've got Campbell. But I still think that they can take advantage of this LA Chargers defense. And I think that it's going to be two teams playing two completely different types of football. But I think if the Browns, the only way I feel like the Browns lose this game is if they let the Chargers jump out ahead and they kind of take them out of their running kind of offense and try to turn that Cleveland offense into a passing offense. I think that's the only way that the Browns could lose this game. But I've got the Browns winning, especially when their Achilles heel for the Chargers is running the ball. I think that plays into Cleveland's hands.
Okay. Q, if you want, you can read that super chat and then you can take it over for the Browns.
Yeah, I got you. Thoughts? Browns goal line formation, 3 tight ends, 2 running backs, and Wishbone. Rare to have starting caliber spots. You can run dozens of plays off that exact look every time. Me crazy? I don't agree with you, but I hate 2 running back looks in the red
Coop,
zone.
you need to watch like 1940s tape. You would love football way back.
I think the Ravens ran that play. Or
yeah,
I think the last game, maybe 3 running backs.
Because you could do something nice where like the quarterback hands the ball off, but then like you're worried about both directions splitting, like with the run. Yeah, Baker ain't carrying that shit in the line. Yeah, so no, especially when you worried about his arm. So no, it just nah. You need to have a wide receiver out there just because you want that deception to be available for the offense there. You know, you want the threat that you could pull it out and throw. That's more effective than having 2 running backs out there because, you know, I know we like Kareem Hunt, but Kareem Hunt's not going to be a better blocker than Janovich if you're in the goal line set. So he would just be.
Could Nick
losing.
Chubb be a better blocker for Kareem Hunt?
Is that really how you want to use Nick Chubb? But, you know.
That's how I want to use Kareem Hunt.
Yeah, because you're a big Kareem Hunt guy now. But yeah, talk about this matchup here. Now, the corner, the injury report situation is a little bit concerning because, like, normally it's just a bunch of dudes on limited practice. These are a ton of DNPs. Now, Myles Garrett got a DNP. Myles Garrett's going to play. It's not even injury related. They're just like, Myles, you've been dominating for 2 straight weeks. Let's let you get to breather in during practice. It's literally what the injury report says, non-injury related. Jadeveon, the elbow, I thought he hurt his hip. I don't know what that's about. I do know Greg's not playing. Greg's not going to play this week. They already came out and said Greg's not going to play. And Malcolm Smith's just old, so he's going to play probably. David Njoku, you never know with him. And Denzel Ward, you never know with him, right? So if you don't have Denzel and it's just Greedy Williams out there with MJ Stewart, yeah, you're going to have problems. You're going to have massive problems this week. I think the biggest question is, can this defensive line continue to perform at the level that it has been the last 2 weeks and get pressure on Justin Herbert and slow that offense down? I think that's going to be a huge question there. And I think also when it comes to the secondary, who's going to be there is important, but also, you know, how are you going to use some of these players? Are we going to continue to let Grant Delpit kind of roam out there? I think that's a good look for him. What are you going to do with John Johnson if you're low on DB depth? Troy Hill's also hurt, so that's your plan B for your backup boundary corner position. So you got a lot to figure out there if you can't have these guys up and available and healthy. But yeah, defensively, look, I don't know. I feel like the defense has been playing well, but I don't know if they've been playing well enough to just shut down a very good, hot Chargers offense. But hey, the Vikings offense was hot coming into that game, and they were able to do that. So there is that. Offensively, I feel like a lot of this stuff coming out is very convenient that it's coming out right now, right? When you expect the Browns to come in with a run-heavy game plan, against a team that doesn't defend the run well. Now, all of a sudden, this report comes out. Baker has a torn labrum. Oh, my goodness. Now everybody knows that he's injured. So now they're definitely not going to throw the ball a ton. This is some Kevin Stefanski trickery. They're going to throw this ball a lot. I'm almost guaranteeing you Baker's probably going to have like 40 pass attempts in this game. How he does with those pass attempts, we will find out. They are adamant that he looks fine in practice so far. Like 100% adamant. They are not coming off that logic right there. So if he looks fine in practice and they feel like they could throw the ball with him, then go with it, right? Because he had broken ribs last year and he was able to play off of that. Now, I don't know if that's any different than this labrum situation. We'll see. But I also know with Baker, when he misses, he always misses high, whether he has a torn labrum or not. So that's just kind of been his thing there. But yeah, it's a tough game here. I'm going to stick with my preseason prediction, which is that the Browns aren't going to win this game here. So I'm going to go with the Chargers. I hope I'm wrong on that. I just don't know if the Browns are going to be ready to put a full one together right now. I think maybe at home versus Arizona might be that opportunity to put one together and bounce back, but I don't know if this week's the week for that.
Okay, so Mr. Coulter here says Chargers ranked 29th in the run defense, Brown ranked 5th in the run offense. Baker with a labrum could pose a little issue, but AVP, what is AVP?
Oh, yeah, it's Alex Van Pelt, though.
Said he's been accurate at practice. Browns pulled a win like last week's game. Shout out to you. Thank you for the nation.
Now
to be fair, AVP can't say anything else other than Baker's been accurate at practice. Right? He can't be like he been throwing 45 interceptions. It's been bad. Defense been doing like he can't really say if it's been bad, but it would have come out if it were bad.
I forgot y'all got Van Pelt.
Yeah. See, that super chat is interesting, right? We talk about the Chargers; they're so bad at defending the run, and the Browns are so good at running the football. But what I love,
Murray, by the way,
what I love about this matchup, I know lots can be made about the Browns defense and how well they're playing and how can they do against Herbert, who everyone's talking about is like the MVP this year so far. Turn the channel off. Who cares? Who cares what happens when the Chargers are on offense and the Browns are on defense? Because as a football nerd, I'm so hyped to see Brandon Staley and his scheme that he brings in. Again, a defense that is schematically built around, hey, if you want to run the football, like we'll let you do that a little bit, but you're not going to throw, right? So it's the modern NFL. This is their, like he is bringing this new wave, him and Fangio a little bit, bringing this new wave in of saying, hey, we're not that we don't want to defend the run. Obviously, they want to be able to defend the run. And his Rams defense last year was very, very good at defending the run, even with the kind of like the lighter boxes, the too high looks that they continue to bring. This Chargers team, not as good, but it hasn't really cost them. They played the Dallas Cowboys a couple weeks back. I believe the Cowboys ran for like 200 yards in that game. Tony Pollard had 100, and Zeke was right behind him, ran right through him. That was a 20-17 game, more of a low-scoring game, even though the Cowboys had a ton of success. I'm interested to see if Staley sticks with it with this team. Does he stick with that style? Because it's one thing to say, hey, we're going to play these lighter boxes. We're not going to go for, we're not going to try and shut down your running game. We're going to let you run a little bit because we think, you can't go on long drives. We don't think you can, you can sustain. We can tighten up in the red zone. That's a nice theory for about 30 teams against 30 teams in the National Football League. Against Cleveland, against Baltimore, you really want to run that way? You really want to try that? Let's see what happens. I'm really intrigued by this matchup in that way because this is a Cleveland offense that if they don't stack the box, if they do stay in those too high looks, you have to imagine that Stefanski's not going to come out of it. He's going to trust that he can, that, with his offense, he's going to be able to get massive yards with Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt and stay consistent in that way. We saw this Browns team do it against a very bad Kansas City offense in week 1 of this season. I'm really, really, really hyped to watch this because and by the way, to talk about the Chargers defensively for a second, and they are getting better week over week. I thought Nasser Adderley had his best game on Monday night. He was a safety they drafted a couple years back to pair along with Derwin James. Never really arrived. A lot of hype around him, but never really a good player. I think he's starting to turn the corner, and Derwin James looks like Derwin James. Again, obviously they have Joey Bosa there. So, like personnel-wise, obviously this is not as good a personnel group as what Brandon Staley had in LA over the past couple of years with Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey, but he's got some good, nice talent there, and I'm really intrigued to see what happens there. I'm going to pick against the Browns, though, just because of that injury, right? I mean, again, looking at what Baker did last week, how inaccurate he is, and now getting the confirmation, like, yep, it's an injury. Again, how can you project that, like, week over week, he's just going to magically heal up, So I'll take the Chargers in this one. But here's the thing. Baker may not matter. Again, if Staley doesn't come out of that look and Stefanski sticks to it, the Chargers or the Browns may just run for 250 here and still put up the 27 or 30 points it's going to take to win this game.
Okay.
Or Baker, they come out there and they do what the Brett Favre Super Bowl play to start the game, where there's just a play action boot to Sterling Sharp to start the game.
Yeah,
but it's Odell. I feel like somebody is goating somebody because this is all coming out at a real convenient time to really goat people and they're not going to throw the ball at all this week. I just feel like they're trying to set something up. I don't know. Kevin Stefanski plays weird games sometimes.
It's fun. Yeah. That's what makes this game so fun. And by the way, stupid NFL. I mean, I don't know if you guys know this, but the national game at 4:00 this week is Giants Cowboys. That's what we're all going to get to see. Thank you, NFL. Love great quality matchup there.
I'll be sleeping for that one. Okay, so I think we went 3-1 by the way with the Bengals, and then in here, Q and Tony picked the Charger. I'm actually thinking, this is a game that. I agree with the panel here. I think they should definitely run the ball. I think you pound the ball and then you hit them with play action, because I think at some point they're going to start bringing down. I don't think he's going to stay conventional. I think he knows Browns, they're a power running team. And then with them, Baker goes to play action and hits you up there. Right. And I think that will still happen. I think Baker redeems himself. I think Baker throws about 250. Right, 250, but he's gonna take a couple of long shots because they're gonna key from the running game. The Chargers are missing Kenneth Murray, their middle linebacker, and there's even with Kenneth Murray, right? There were moments there that the Chargers did not look good. I think Derwin James will play closer to the line in this game to help in the running side. And I hear you, Tony, because you said with the Cowboys, they basically said, okay, let them go. But the reality is, if Baker's really, hurt, and just going back to the game tape last week, they can say well, let them beat us with the air, because they didn't prove that last week. But we know on the running side they can just chug it along, right? So saying all that, I think if this game was in LA, I would have picked Los Angeles, the Chargers. The Chargers are.
It is in LA.
It is in LA. It's in LA.
It is in LA.
No, it is. This is East Coast team going west. Yeah,
it's in
LA. Yeah,
and he rephrased it.
Yeah.
Chargers. I'm going
second game on the West Coast trip. Second game.
Yeah.
For some reason, I thought it was in Cleveland.
That's next week when Cliff Kingsbury comes to Cleveland.
Oh, we got it's a marquee matchup. It's a rivalry.
Undefeated Cardinals. By the way, they probably might come in there undefeated.
Yeah. Who do the
Cardinals
have this week?
That show is gonna be a 1 hour show. And the other thing is, if Quincy doesn't get eliminated this week, by the way, there's only 25 people. Quincy's gonna pick Cleveland that week. I'm just saying.
He has to.
For the
brand. He has to for the brand.
Cliff Kingsbury.
Don't be into this. Y'all trying to get me eliminated.
Yeah. I mean, do you really think Cliff Kingsbury is a bad coach? Because listen, when the Steelers play a bad coach, I think I pick my Steelers. So I'm just saying. I'm not saying
for me. It's never been Kingsbury. It's just been about Kyler Murray. That's what I've always looked at.
By the way,
you wouldn't know that if you hear people talk about Cliff Kingsbury as if he's a great coach. Oh my God, Cliff Kingsbury, the job he's done with the Cardinals. Oh, look at him. He blew out the LA Rams because the LA Rams don't often have weird games where they just let teams win. Yeah,
division game.
I mean?
That's a division game. Weird things happen in division games.
The division game, I still don't believe Matt Stafford's as good as everybody swore to God he was when he got traded all of a sudden. Yeah, I mean, look, I don't believe in the Cardinals. They got to make me believe them. But again, I told y'all the story about the 49ers game last year where I was like, nah, they mad fraudulent. The Browns are going to blow them out. Browns are for real. Yeah, it ain't nothing. That game was just a miserable viewing experience. It was a miserable one. So
put your survivor pick on the line. Chat, let Q know.
Well,
put it's a survivor pick on the line.
It's a home game.
If he's still a survivor, make sure you make that pick. Browns, the Shad thinks the Browns are winning this week, 57%. Here we get Tyler Chiz says, appreciate the solid content. Q. Go JOK. Look at that. JOK love. Okay. Let's talk about the Steelers. And Tony.
Yeah.
This week, you think your Steelers get out of the funk?
Here's the thing. The Steelers and Broncos, what I love about this game, Vegas, Broncos, obviously, defensively, we talk about how good they are. The Vegas has the over-under this game at 39.5. Vegas does not think that both of these teams can get to 20. Okay, they're expecting a very, very low-scoring game. And in that way, I actually do think the Steelers can pull off a win here because this game should – and this is probably a barometer game for this defense more than it is the offense. We're going to talk about Ben Roethlisberger, but all Ben's got to do here, in all likelihood, is just don't screw this one up because this should be a 2019 game, right? You look at how the Steelers played and how they won games back in 2019. They had a stretch that year, six out of 7 games they won, where they played teams very similar to the Broncos, right? Where you didn't really have a lot of defining attributes offensively. We were like, well, they're fantastic here, and there's no way that even a good defense can slow them down. The Broncos have a good running game, but certainly we're not putting the Broncos as one of the best rushing teams in the NFL. And whether it's Teddy Bridgewater or Drew Lock, I think neither of those players, I think right now are top quarterbacks, even if Teddy was playing well for the first quarter of the season. So for me in this game, it all comes down to the defense. Can this defense do what this team did back in 2019, which is stifle an opposing offense, especially at home, create havoc and create turnover? Now, I know this team, has gone back to this kind of only rush 4, drop into zone coverage, which has led to less sacks overall, less pressures than they were getting previously, and certainly less turnover. They're gonna have to reverse the course there. I know TJ Watt's gonna be healthier this week. He was clearly not healthy last week when he came back. Neither was Highsmith. But with both those guys getting healthier, Melvin Ingram's been fantastic for them since he got there, and Hayward has still continued to play at a high level. The one thing that worries me about this game, though, is I know Tomlin talked last week and he said, well, we kind of let the Packers run the ball because we wanted to shut down Aaron Rodgers. Okay. And then that's fine. But I'm just not convinced that this team can stop the run, yes, you let them run the ball last week and that's fine, but Alualu's out. And I'm not sure that this defensive line right now, Tuitt's been out for a while. Tuitt will likely miss much more time here. So I'm not sure that this defensive line in this front is a quality run stopping front. And that's where the Broncos can have some success in this football game. And then of course the X factor, we should talk about Ben for a second here, right? Because, Ben is not playing well, but what we haven't seen Ben is like an outright catastrophe game just yet. The multiple interception stuff. I'm not predicting a multiple interception thing, but the way he's trending, it's not trending up, right? Ben Roethlisberger's not getting better week over week. I'm hoping he can turn it around. And again, as I said on Tuesday's show, I think that we're likely to see, and hopefully we'll see for Steeler fans, some games in which, we see some classic Ben. I just don't think we're going to see that consistently. Vegas has this one as a pick 'em, straight up pick 'em, no line on this game. So I'll just listen, as a Steeler fan, I'll take the Steelers outright. Again, I think a low scoring game like this though introduces more variance, right? Again, the worst team can win because there's just not a lot of points put on. So it's every little thing is kind of weighs so much more. I'll trust Tomlin in that. Get this team to play penalty free, turnover free, home football game. I think the Steelers should come away with a win. You are on
Sonny,
mute.
you're muted.
Guys,
the quote of 2020.
Yeah, that is true. Before you keep asking, Ace had to leave for a family matter, so he's gonna rejoin the pod. So shout out to our guy. Hope everything is well. Q, here's a super chat for you, and then you can take it over with the Steelers game.
Yeah, Misfit Culture says, Q, I got to get you on Misfit Culture TV to talk some Cleveland Browns, man. Just hit me up. Hit me up. I'll try to set it up. My schedule's pretty busy this week, but next week you should be able to get on. But yeah, this is an interesting one because like I just don't trust either team here. I don't think I don't think the Steelers. Yeah, I don't think the Steelers are particularly great right now, and I really don't think that the Broncos are particularly good. I can see this isn't a road game. This is in Pittsburgh too, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So I think Pittsburgh's going to win this one. I don't think the wheels are going to come off yet. This is early year. I mean, like the problem with what the Steelers have going on right now is that you would assume Ben being an older quarterback, the longer the year goes on, the worse he's going to look. Mm-hmm. So I think the wheels coming off in that respect, you're going to get that in like December, and it's going to be ugly and cold. And I think Ben might retire on the spot.
Going to pull who was the corner in Indy who just literally retired at halftime?
Oh, my guy, was it Vontae Davis?
Yeah,
Vontae Davis. Yeah, he quit his job in the middle of his shift.
Yes.
In the middle of his shift. Yeah, Ben ain't go outright quit, but he'll have an injury that keeps him out for like the last 4 weeks or something like that, right? Like
a tummy ache.
He'll be like, I'm too hurt, guys. I have a knee. You know what I mean, or something like that. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Pittsburgh here. I think the defense shows up this week big. I think last week Baltimore showed that if you get pressure on whoever they have playing quarterback, they're not an effective offense at all. And this defense, like I like Patrick Surtain, I like Kareem Jackson. I think they're kind of similar to the Steelers defense where they're pretty good, but they're not going to carry you to a victory. And I think that's what they need now. And even with Pittsburgh's offense being awful, I still think that they have it in them to put together a better game than the Denver Broncos do because I just like their weapons better. I like Deontay Johnson more. Chase Claypool might be hurt, but still you have Najee Harris, who's de facto their number 2 wide receiver right now. So, you have enough weapons there for me to feel confident. Fryermuth's been great for them. And I don't think Ben has a good game, but I think he has one of those games where he might not throw a ton of interceptions. And it might look good if you just look at the stat sheet, but then you're going to be like, why does he have a 26, QBR or something like that? It might be one of those games. But I think ultimately Pittsburgh's going to come out here and get to 2-3,
2-3,
one game. Yeah. Away from 500. We'll see if they can get it
all the way back, baby. And they'll put us. By the way, I think right now, I think the Steelers are only a game and a half out of first. No, they're 2 games out of first, or two games out of first, 2 games out of. Is it 2 games out of the wild card though?
It is October, and we're
not
talking about baseball. We are not going to.
Oh, listen, we got to play out. Listen, in the hunt. I don't know if you guys see when the Steelers were like not good, but they were like just okay back in the Cordell years. They always used to put up that graphic where it's like in the hunt, and you would see. The Steelers are like 6-8, but they're in the hunt, right? It's like, oh, they just got to win 2 more and hope that you get through all the scenarios and everything. I can't wait for December to be that way for Pittsburgh.
Tony, if you want to feel even better about yourself, I remember a year where the Browns fans were just ecstatic that they played a game with the Washington football team. Both teams had like 4 wins, but we were both technically in the hunt. And when they opened that game, they were like, look, playoff implications for this one. And they showed the graphic. Guess what? In the hunt, baby. We were excited. We were like, we're in the graphic. In the hunt, baby.
Hey, especially on those years where you start really bad. There was that year the Steelers started 2-6, and then they got their way back up to like 6-6, I think. Or maybe it was like 4-6, and then they put us in the graphic, like, we're back all the way.
Yeah, super chat from Professor Chaos. Hey, Q, it's crazy to think it's Bitonio's 100th start.
Yeah, but Tonio's old, man. It's crazy to think that these dudes who are in the 2014 draft, they're starting to get old. Odell's starting to get old. Yep. Jarvis is starting to get old. Like Carson Wentz, he already get old man injuries like all the time. You never know if he's going to play or not. What the hell's going on with him? Was he 2014? No. Jameis in Mariota. That was 2014, right? Or was that 2015? No, that was 2015. Who was 2014? Who's the quarterbacks of 2014? Because the Browns didn't have
no idea.
Were there quarterbacks in that draft?
Was the bad draft?
None. No, 2013 is the bad one.
Hold on.
2016 is
somehow
Dolphin
Tyrann
wins,
Matthew
right?
was-
2016 is
That was
Dolphin wins.
Clowney. Clowney was 14. Clowney.
14.
Khalil Mack.
Oh, that's Bortles. That's Bortles.
Yeah.
Right?
Was that
That's
the
the
Bortles
Bortles year.
year?
Yeah.
That's the Bortles year. That's when we, that
Bortles.
quarterback draft, we just.
Yeah.
That draft was so
Justin
good
Gilbert.
that it's an all-time draft without any good quarterbacks being in it.
Yeah, because that's Teddy too. I believe Teddy was in that draft. Bortles and
Yeah.
Teddy came out the same
Oh
year.
no, that was the Manziel year.
Yeah. That's Johnny Football. That's Bortles. That's a quarterback draft class.
I tried to erase it from my mind.
Justin Gilbert got picked before.
I try not to think about what the Browns did in that first
Aaron
round.
Donald.
That draft.
Yeah. Okay, let me say this.
Yeah, Aaron Donald went 12th. That was my favorite player at the draft. I was like, oh man, the Browns have 2 opportunities to pick him. Please take Aaron Donald. He's going to be great. No, you don't take a defensive tackle that high.
I know we do this thing and people get mad at us when we derail, but I just have to bring this up about the Aaron Donald thing. This goes again to how bad the NFL is at scouting talent. Okay, Aaron Donald, who was a generational player, one of the greatest defensive tackles of all time. At the combine, they asked him to do linebacker drills. Okay. They asked Aaron Donald to do linebacker drills.
The greatest quote about football that exists in existence is football is a really simple game made complicated by really dumb men. It is the greatest quote that explains how does Lamar Jackson go 32? Oh, I don't know if he could throw a football, even though he was in a pro-style offense in Louisville. How does JOK go in the second round? You know what I mean? I was watching the 96 draft. That's just how bored I am sometimes. I was rewatching the 96 draft, and Ray Lewis just went in the 20s, and like everybody was like, yeah, Ray Lewis is going to be a really great linebacker, but nobody was like, we should probably draft Ray Lewis a little bit earlier than 22 or 26 or whatever it was.
Undersized, yeah.
Yeah, undersized. That's the people talk themselves out of good players all the time. And Vach Lombardi has a great quote about this because sometimes players don't get drafted where they should. And he's like, you got to remember, not all 32 teams have people who are good at this shit.
That's right. No, it's an important thing. It's that these are not the 32 best franchises in the, this is not soccer where like there's promotion and relegation.
Yeah.
These are the only 32 professional sports leagues. That doesn't mean you didn't get here because you're good at it. You just got here because you had the money to do it. That's it.
So
sometimes you do something like draft Johnny Football and Justin Gilbert in the best skill player first round of all time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That year, the Ravens, I still remember I was walking my dog and I was listening to in the radio because there was 3 players the Ravens were targeting, right? Odell was one, Aaron Donald was the other one, and Zach Martin. Those were the 3.
God.
Those were the 3 that the Ravens were targeting, and they all went before us. Odell was the first one, and then Aaron Donald, and then we had the hope of Zach Martin. Zach Martin got the pick before us, and that's when we ended up with C.J. Mosley, which was a good pick. Not with us right now, but he was a solid player for the Ravens. But I was
by the way, thank God they didn't get Aaron Donald.
That would have been amazing.
Could you imagine Aaron Donald at that awesome. 3 end? Oh my God, that would be. You think Calais Campbell's wreaking havoc? Goodness gracious! Thank God they didn't get Aaron Donald.
This should be this week. I know we're way off the rails, but we should do this as a topic during the offseason, which is like the best, the just missed draft class that your team had. There was a year for the Steelers.
Don't do this to me.
They were a pick away from getting Darrelle Revis. I mean, the Steelers were a pick away from getting Darrelle Revis one year.
The Browns one time drafted Leon McFadden with Tyrann Mathieu on the board. On the board. Leon McFadden.
We might do a whole show just about
Cleveland
bad Browns draft classes. I mean, we could definitely do hours of content there.
Yeah.
Don't do this to me. Remember when we drafted Trent Richardson 3rd overall?
Ooh,
do I ever?
Okay, so going back, for the Steelers, look, I actually think they don't know if Teddy's gonna play, but
he's gonna play. He practiced. He's gonna play.
He is. Okay.
He is. Yeah.
Because if Teddy plays, what Teddy can do, which Drew Lock cannot, is pick up a zone. Right? He can pick up a zone. The Ravens demonstrated that if you put pressure on Teddy Bridgewater, like any quarterback, he gets under the rails. This offensive line had 2 guards missing practice or missing the game. Hayward playing, Tony?
Cam's going to play for sure. The question marks here are for the Steelers are Claypool, James Washington, and I'll think of the other one. Keep going.
I think Patrick Surtain is going to play as well. But this is a game that Hayward needs to create, just break those guards. They're two unexpected. It's a second-year guard and a rookie center playing guard. And that's where Hayward they need to, that inside line, the Ravens inside line was eating them up. Like I said, we were creating pressure with 4 and 5 rushes, right? And if you do that, I think the Steelers win. Remember, also the Broncos are missing their skill position guys, right? Judy and Hamler, which is their deep throw guy. They still have Noah Fant. Really, I love Noah Fant as a tight end. The Ravens contain him. They still have Sutton and Tim Patrick. But the Ravens put so much pressure onto the quarterbacks that they really couldn't move the ball. So I think they punted like 11 times in that game. So I think the Steelers could do the similar game plan that the Ravens did, just create pressure and build from that pressure. The Ravens really had the turnover at the end of the game. It wasn't like they created turnovers, but the pressure was so much that they punted a lot. The defensive side, they're really good. I mean, this is a good defense. And they make sure with Baltimore they stop the run. So there were lanes, there were passes, there were areas wide open. The Steelers, again, they have the receiving core. They need to exploit that. I think Farmouth, again, I like the kid a lot. They should use him more in this game, especially if they don't have Claypool. So I think the Steelers actually should win. I'm gonna go with the Steelers as well.
I don't like that. I'm gonna take the Broncos. I'll switch. I'll take the Broncos.
So hey, last time we did this and we all picked the Steelers and you switch, they lost.
They haven't won. They only won once this year, and I didn't pick them to win that one. So I'm trying to keep the mojo. By the way, before you read this super chat, real quick, Cam Sutton is the other player that the Steelers are not even 50-50. He hasn't practiced yet. He likely won't play. So I do have a prediction. I forgot about this. I do have a prediction this week. I would like to predict that my dog, James Pierre, is getting his first INT this week. He will likely be the full-time outside corner this game. Was going to have to be because no Cam Sutton. So get ready, everyone. The James Pierre hype train starts.
Oh my God. You need to buy his jersey, by the way. Professor Chaos here with the super.
They'll be selling his jersey after what he does on Sunday.
Q, I bought a Tim Richardson jersey. The biggest treat.
Ooh, that's another good show we could do. Is like the worst jersey purchases. I have an Artie Burns jersey in there.
No, man. 2 years ago, if you used to go back to Cleveland Brown Stadium when like they were still wearing the really garbage jerseys, so like everybody had to buy new ones because they had the new redesign. Boy, you see some pathetic jerseys out there. You see like Armani Bryant. You see, some. It was like a Corey Coleman jerseys are really sad to see. I still got a Jabril Peppers jersey T-shirt that I just keep around there because I'm like, 22. Somebody still wears that on the team. But it is a graveyard. You know what I mean? For the longest time, look, man, it was just the best bet to just get a throwback Kelly Holcomb and just rock that thing out ironically. You know what I mean? There was really nothing you could wear. You know what I mean? Until Myles Garrett came along. That's the only real jersey you could have gotten in that era that would have made sense.
By the way, thank you, Sean Leonard. And if this happens to you mess up the super chat, don't worry. Like Sean Leonard did, add us, okay? I'm watching on a bit of a delay, but it's the first time I've been able to watch while you're live and wanted to show support. Go Browns. Shout out to you. Thank you for the donation. And let me close this poll. The Steelers, we have 76% of people think the Steelers are losing, Tony. So now, let's go with the marquee matchup, the Monday Night Football game that I'm hating. It's a Monday night, and to be honest, I don't even. Well, I guess
is this the marquee matchup? Is this the marquee matchup?
Well, I'm just saying because of how the schedule went, right? They're the Monday night. No, the marquee matchup in the AFC North talk is the Browns Chargers, right? That should have been the
Packers Bengals is also there's 2 really good games. Actually, this is a great week of football.
Come on. We know what the marquee game is. It's the Baltimore Ravens versus the whatever's left of the Colts. Whatever.
By the way,
victory lap time. All these idiots that were talking to me before the season about Carson Wentz, he's gonna be top 5 because he got a new offensive coordinator when he was going to the same system that he was in before, and he was stinking. Now he ain't stunk like he stunk that last year. But by the way, I'm gonna just get mine out the way. Ravens winning. Ravens are winning.
I mean,
one. The Ravens are winning.
I mean,
Carson Wentz, complete fraud. Everybody like Frank Reich's gonna fix him. Why did you have any faith that Frank Reich would fix him? Who has Frank Reich ever fixed? I don't know. Like he got Andrew Luck for like a year, and Andrew Luck bounced. And then who they had after that? Phillip Rivers. Yeah, he fixed Phillip Rivers.
Did he have? Did
Jacoby play for a year? Yeah.
Was that him though, or was that on the last of the Chuck Pagano years?
I like that was Chuck Pagano. Brissett was Chuck Pagano.
Yeah, I don't remember either.
Well,
because that was the
year.
That was the year that Luck was hurt, and then they played him, and then I think they panicked and got Phillip Rivers once he retired.
Yeah. I don't remember the timeline here. I got a question real quick for Sonny before you talk about this game. Do Ravens fans still consider any matchup with the Colts like a weird revenge thing?
Yes. Okay. I'm gonna tell you even more. Every team that goes to Baltimore, right? This game is in M&T. Like when the Steelers go there, is Pitt and Ball, right? Pitt's there in Baltimore. That's how it's scored.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It's the other way around. They put Colts. It will be Steelers and Ravens, right?
Yeah.
For they put Indy instead of Colts. They never put Colts. They put Indy. Yes.
Gotcha.
You still remember?
Gotcha. So there's just a lingering hate forever.
I think what people are more salty, if anything, is that they took all the records with them, right?
Yeah.
So Johnny Unitas record. So like Joe Flacco in his first 5 or 6 years became the highest yardage.
The irony here is just it's very rich.
I know, it's hilarious. Look, y'all don't know how to get y'all team stolen like Cleveland. Look, we got our team stolen. We kept
stealing a team and taking their entire records with you.
Yeah,
no.
Who would do such a thing?
Cleveland sued the league to keep their history and their colors.
That's true. That's true.
But who is gonna move to a new city and be like, we the Browns? Like it's just it's not a name that you could be anywhere else other than Cleveland, right?
Yeah, that is true. Tony, any thoughts about this game?
Not really. I mean, like this is look, the one thing I'll say about the Colts is I guess there's a way to look at the Colts where you say like maybe they're not. I mean, I know they're 1-3, and I said I thought the whole AFC this year was going to be down, and the Colts were a big reason for that. People are building up the Colts like get Carson Wentz with Frank Reich, and we're going to have something here. Like, look, and I agree with the major takes there, which are that everything around Wentz is good, right? You got a young, solid running back in Jonathan Taylor. Wide receiver core is good, like with Michael Pittman there now, and let's get Paris Campbell is the other one from Ohio State.
Yeah, Pascal is their second leading receiver.
Okay. Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot they even have him. And then you got Quentin Nelson at guard, and then on defense, they've got Darius Leonard in the middle there, and they have
Buckner and
DeForest Buckner as well. Here's the problem for them is that they've really fallen off in the secondary. They got a couple guys there that are just not good anymore, like Xavier Rhodes. And then their nickel guy, I was looking up his stats today on Pro Football Focus. He does a great job of – what's that?
Rock Yassin?
No, Rock Yassin is an outside corner. Their nickel guy, forget his name.
But Rock Yassin is out for this game, by the way.
Is he? Okay, because, he's their best corner. The kid who plays inside for them, the slot corner, does a great job of – I think he gives up like 80% completion percentage and has the most missed tackles on the team and has given up like 100 yards after catch. So, the great combo there of not doing a great job covering and then also not making the tackle is just the icing on the cake there. I guess, I mean, look, I'll say this. I don't think Indy's like a terrible matchup against Baltimore because Darius Leonard is such a good linebacker. Now they lost Justin Houston and they haven't really done a great job of scouting edge rushers. Like Kwity Paye might have, we talked about this whole edge class and how raw everyone was going to be. So Kwity Paye may end up being a good edge rusher, but right now I don't think he's much to worry about. And then there's Ben Banigou, the other guy that they drafted, who's not good. So I think, here's the thing. And we talk about the slot receiver. Is Bateman playing in this game?
They're iffy.
Okay.
They're iffy.
It probably won't matter. Because Roman's done a good job of scheming up Hollywood in advantageous spots. I mean, I think, again, I talked about this on Tuesday, right? The Ravens were already hard enough to defend sideline to sideline. Now you got to go vertically as well with this emergence of Hollywood as a legitimate deep threat with his speed and now his ability to beat you in route running as well. The Ravens are a 7-point favorite here. They're going to smash the the Indianapolis Colts. I suppose there's a chance they keep this close. You talk back about the Bengals, right? The Colts, they're like super narrow path to victory here is Taylor goes off in this one. We saw the Broncos have some success last week running the football against Baltimore. We've talked about Patrick Queen a lot on this show. Not good. I guess that is a minor recipe for success. And then defensively, as I said, maybe they can do something to slow down Baltimore's rushing attack. Baltimore, by the way, is doing a good job of slowing down their own rushing attack by not playing their best pure runner in Tyson Williams. So, that's cool. But I think even still, no, I think Baltimore takes this one.
Yeah, so a couple of things that works for the Baltimore Ravens in favor, right? Their O-line. Did you talk about Indy? Indy's O-line 3 years ago, we were talking about like this is the best O-line in the league, right? Obviously, the Browns overtook that. And right now, Fisher's playing kind of hurt. He came from that big injury. And then their best lineman, which is one of the best linemen in the league, we're talking about Nelson. He's out of this game, right? You have Nelson out. Taylor's playing injured. Carson Wentz is playing injured. Rock Yassin is out. So there's a bunch of injuries from this team. I mean, the Ravens have a bunch of injuries as well. But the Ravens have, I think, put players in position. You know how I talk about the Bengals, so they have players in the position to exploit the weaknesses and the current injuries of Green Bay. I think the Ravens have that as well. Plus, they're playing in MNT. Carson Wentz, to be fair, this MFer always keeps the games for the Ravens close. I don't know why, but he finds a way to keep the games too close for my comfort. But the Ravens should win this game. And they should be comfortably winning this game, in my opinion. Not to sound arrogant, but the secondary for the Colts, not great. Their running defense, it is good, right? That D-line is still very solid. Obviously, Leonard is really good. I still think the Ravens should try to pound the ball just so they don't relax and push everybody back. And as soon as they start putting people in the box, if they come with the game plan of the Broncos game, we're going to torch them. Because the Broncos at least had a legit secondary, right? These guys had nothing in the secondary. So if they come, Broncos basically went 8 in the box the whole game. 8 in the box. So if they do that, Ravens are just going to pick them apart. I think Hollywood Brown has another big game. If Bateman is active, because there are rumors of Bateman being active, I think Bateman is going to be, like in a pitch count. Just so basically so he can get his legs under him. And then on the defensive side, I think this is a big game also for Odafe Owe. Odafe Owe has been playing great. Odafe always has been a pleasant surprise for me, right? You guys know what I feel about Odafe Owe. He's been great, and then Calais Campbell's been great, and then Justin Houston. He's looking for the 100th sack, and then this is the team that didn't want him back. So obviously, I think Justin Houston has a vendetta for this team, and then he's gonna play good, in my opinion. So the D-line, I think, pulls out. Carson Wentz currently playing with 2 hurt ankles, so I think they can pressure him. He's not as mobile. He hasn't been – the one thing with Carson Wentz this week or this season so far, he has not produced turnovers. Usually Carson Wentz likes to throw it to the other team.
They're coming. They're coming.
This could be a week.
Coming.
This could be a week. The Ravens have not produced that many interceptions, but this could be a week.
It's like saying Daniel Jones hasn't fumbled. Like, well, he hasn't fumbled yet, but we know, Daniel Jones is Daniel Jones. So,
yeah, he gonna fumble. He gonna do that thing with them little hands.
So I think the Ravens win. I think the score that I predicted was like 27-13 Ravens on a Monday night. So yeah, Professor Chaos here says question: which offense is playing better, Cleveland
Cleveland or Pittsburgh? Wow. I mean, just like one game sample
let's
sizing
not get crazy here.
One game sample sizing it, they're actually closer than you would think. If you just took last week, even though the Steelers were very, very bad, the Browns were also very, very bad.
But the Browns at least had a running game, right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like, here's the biggest difference between the two teams, by the way. I know, Tony, but you're a Washington football fan now. I know you like Heineke. I know you're a Heineke guy, but damn, you jumped. No, I know. But when you look at the Browns, with the Browns have a performance, I said this in my grades video earlier today. I was like, look, if the Steelers offense were putting up the numbers that the Browns offense were putting up, you would be like the Steelers offense, you would give that a B. The Browns offense putting up the numbers like that they're doing right now, no, that's C- stuff for them. So like, yeah, listen,
I would be draped in a Canadian flag right now if the Steelers were putting up numbers the way the
what happened with
Browns
Canada? I thought Canada was the second coming of Jesus.
Listen, it's a Ben problem, Sonny. It's a
Ben problem.
Right it's a Ben Roethlisberger. You can change out a lot. You change out a lot of things. You keep one thing the same, and the results don't change at all. I think we, what's that? The common denominator there? Yeah, we got a common denominator here.
So a guy named
why you ain't got no stats? That's a Ben problem. That's a Ben problem, bro.
I wonder how much he regrets not signing Chiefs or Ravens, especially the Chiefs, right?
I mean, yeah,
because he's about to lose some money.
Yeah,
he might have to do a 1-year deal again with a place that he can showcase his talent. Anyway, a guy named by Tony Serino here says, and I know it's his father-in-law.
It's my father-in-law. Yeah.
From a Washington football fan,
Heineke Hive represent.
Are the Ravens the luckiest team in the NFL? So let me stop there and then we'll take the other question.
Yeah.
I don't know how the Ravens can be the luckiest team when we literally just got hammered with a bunch of injuries. And then we started with a team that was very hot as the Oakland Raiders in their
Vegas Raiders.
Vegas Raiders opening the new stadium, right? So that stadium was just rocking. And then our second game was the Chiefs. Right, so back to back.
No, I think he's referring to the Justin Tucker kick. Obviously that hit the upright and went in and not out.
Talent. That's just talent. He says he practiced best.
And it is. I mean, look, obviously there's a bit of luck to that, but there's a lot of people will say like Tom Brady got so lucky throughout his career, and they'll go over all the ways like Tom Brady got lucky. But part of luck is putting yourself in position to be lucky, right? How many kickers in the National Football League right now could even hit the crossbar, right, the top of the crossbar? On a 65-yard kick, right? How many
kickers have the cachet to where their coach is going to trust them?
Exactly.
Go out there and kick.
That's
that.
Right.
That's
an aspect of it as well. Yes, of course. So yeah, I mean, obviously that kick was very, very lucky, of course. But it speaks to Justin Tucker's talent that, like you said, he was put in that spot, and the fact that he was able to get it that far. And yeah, I mean, if you play that kick out 100 times, it 50-50 if it actually goes in.
He was hitting 72s in Denver, by the way, in the pregame warm.
I heard that, and I really want. They had a chance, but I think before halftime to.
They should have done it. They should have done it because we don't playing, I guess, in Denver enough. Because it was a 75. They said he was short for 75 yards, but at 72 he was hitting that. And then
guys, we talk about hey, when you see a LeBron in his prime, you want to just enjoy it, don't hate. Just enjoy it because you don't know when you're ever going to see it again. We got Justin Tucker in his prime right now. You know what? Just enjoy it while we can. A prime kicker. We've never seen anything like this since Janikowski, baby. Oh, my God.
Who's your kicker in fantasy?
It's Justin Tucker, and I got Harrison Butker on the bench.
You have 2 kickers in fantasy? Come on, you don't have 2 kickers.
I auto drafted, and then Gus. No, I'm mad at the Ravens. Gus Edwards got hurt. I was betting on Gus Edwards. I was like, all right, I'm gonna sneak around, not draft the running back early, and then I'm gonna go and sneak around and get Gus Edwards because he's gonna have a huge year this year. Because Raven fans are telling me he's gonna have a huge year. Trust me, man, tears whatever he tears before the season starts. Pops his Achilles. Now I'm starting Michael Carter on the Jets. I have never, ever seen this man play football.
Michael Carter, hey, Michael Carter, not bad. I saw him, again, I got to thank you, NFL. I got to watch a lot of that Jets-Titans game in overtime. Michael Carter, again, I thought he might be too small.
10 points.
He's good. Yeah, he's good.
Yeah.
Listen, all that kind of contact balance stuff that he did, even as a little shifty dude.
You let me say this to you.
I've only won one fantasy league in my entire life, and that was the 1 year. It was after I saw Colin Kaepernick start that Monday Night Football game over Alex Smith, and I was like, oh, yeah, I'm getting this. I'm getting that. And I took Colin Kaepernick right off of the free agent waiver wire, and that carried me to my championship. This is the only time I ever won a fantasy football one was when I got super lucky with it. Other times, I end up with just injuries, drafting Baker Mayfield in 2019 in the keeper league. You know what I mean? Stuff that just doesn't bode out well for great fantasy football stuff. Maybe if I'm putting together a team, it might work out, but not for fantasy football. Don't. Justin Herbert had an opportunity to pick him last year. I thought Justin Herbert was going to stink stink. He was gonna be cheeks. Nope.
Me too. But the year that I won fantasy was the year my first draft pick was Devin Cook. That was 2 years ago, and he had a hell of a year. And then I picked Lamar late, and that was the 14-2 Raven year and MVP Lamar. And between those two, I didn't need anything else. I kept rolling.
As long as we're in the no one cares about your fantasy team segment, I'll let everyone know. I have 2 fantasy teams this year. One of them, they basically want to draft like the Sunday after the NFL draft. Like they want to draft so early. So I had J.K. Dobbins in that league. That was fun. And then the other league I have, I was like, all right, well, I'll get Gus Edwards in this league because J.K. is out. And I still think this Ravens offense is gonna run the ball a lot. Yeah, it's a little double whammy. And by the way, both these teams, the last 2 weeks, okay, I have scored the most points in the league in both weeks, or excuse me, the second most points in the league in both weeks and lost. That's why I hate fantasy so much because of the stupid variants like that. Where like, oh, I scored the second most points in the league, and who did I happen to be playing? Oh, the guy who had like, Derrick Henry who went off for $1 billion.
Yeah. No, I only won 1 fantasy football game this year, and it's only because Lamar threw like an extra interception. Or he fumbled or something because like I was losing that game and I won it by 0.2 points, and it's because he started Lamar at quarterback and Lamar had that fumble in overtime, and I was like, yeah, let's bring it home.
You just reminded me, I lost a fantasy championship. I lost a fantasy championship game on Colin Kaepernick taking a knee, which actually, when you think about like the meta of like that, it's actually kind of funny.
Okay, so here also Tony says, is Ben playing for a championship or do you think is Benny
keep cashing them checks? Ben's in cashing them checks mode. Hey, the check's clear. No, I think. Look, I don't think Ben came back just for the money. I mean, obviously the dude did take a pay cut, a quote unquote pay cut, to come back. But I think he's trying to play for a championship. But very clearly it was.
We said it in the offseason. This team did not went all in as they were trying to win a championship.
See, I don't know if I agree with that. I don't know if I agree with that.
Well, here's why Ben ain't retiring. Let's be real. What else he gonna do? Don't nobody like him otherwise. Like, well, if he's not the quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers, what is he doing? You want him on TV?
Ben's podcast?
Nobody wants Ben on TV. You think he's going to be on the CBS? No, they're not going to put him on no CBS broadcast. They got nothing else to do.
Who would he be like?
You think he would be
what
coach?
Personality he would be like?
Coach?
They like happy people for those jobs. He's not happy. Like,
why isn't he happy? Ben's a fun dude.
Hey,
he'll just play everything up. He'll be like a very, dramatic.
Ben is like a more. You ever watch these Peyton and Eli's, and you're like, man, Eli is just a bitter son of a bitch sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's like Ben is probably like 5
times. You think Eli's the more bitter between the two? No, Peyton is way more.
Peyton's bitter. More, but Peyton has more charisma. Eli just sits there and goes, "They ran play action there. Well, why the hell would you run play action? That's stupid. You got
Eli has less of a personality for sure. For sure.
Eli Peyton is an asshole, but he's charismatic enough to come off as fun. Eli you just hear like, man, Eli's kind of a douche.
Peyton went on a whole rant about how he was convinced that the Patriots were like bugging every locker room they were ever in. That was fantastic.
When we was talking about Joe Buck.
Yes,
I need somebody who doesn't know coverages, like a Joe Buck.
Like Joe Buck, just call them out.
I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, but this will be Big Ben. Big Ben is there, like, hey, so Ben, how you feeling? Man, I'm a little sore today.
Yeah,
my throat is hurting, but you know what? I'm gonna pull this for the team.
Play through it.
Yeah.
That's what they. Hold on. How good would Ben be as like an injury, like if we, an injury expert on the show? You know how now we have like we used to have Jay Feely, who was like the special teams expert, and like, hey, what does it feel to play, or how does it feel to kick in this moment? We have the Gene Steratore, who's like the ref. How about whenever a player gets injured, we cut to Ben Roethlisberger, who tells, because he's played through literally every injury ever. Right, he can tell us like, Ben, what's it like to play through a torn labrum in your non-throwing shoulder? And Ben's like, well, I'll tell you what, back in 2016,
I think I tore my ACL in my shoulder.
That would be terrific. They need this. I'll write this after the show.
Minecraft Master here says, would you change any record prediction? I will switch at least the Steelers and
Bengals. I think we're all going down on the Steelers.
Yeah, because I think I had the Bengals 5 wins.
Yeah, I had them at 9 and 8, and I don't think they're going to be 9.
I had them at 9 and 8 as well. I
I'm
think
gonna
the
keep them at
Bengals
10 wins until they can't though. I learned from 6 and 10 last year. Keep them at 10 until they
I
can't.
like it, Q. I like the dedication to this bit. I like it. I have them. I've been thinking about this a lot. I looked over their whole schedule. Like, what are like the winnable games, and then what is like the percent chance that they even win a winnable game right now with the way they're playing? I have the Steelers, but like 5 or 6 wins this year.
Yeah, so like I had the Bengals at 5, so I think or 6. I think that's for the.
I had them at 7.
Yeah, the Bengals seem more like a 7-8 win team now than they do. I think I had them at 6.
Bengals at 9 now, at least.
Yeah, I think they're probably it's 7, 8, 7, 8, 9, like that range. Yeah.
Okay, AJ&M says the Steelers lose this Sunday, then hope is lost.
Then hope is lost. I mean, did you see the Bengals game? Did we forget about that one? That was the slap. I mean, like if there was ever a wake up call in Pittsburgh, losing to Ryan Finley last year was like, oh, okay, that's really weird and bad. And then getting blown out in the playoffs by Baker Mayfield and the Browns, that was also like, okay, this is really not good. But
at least that
getting beat at home this year, the way that they did, that was a wake up call for me. It was like, okay,
it was like kind of proof what Bengal fans were saying last year. We would have had Joe Burrow in that game. It wouldn't have even been close.
Yeah, because I don't know. I mean, I guess for Steeler fans, like, do you really think a win over the Broncos this year changes much about the outlook of this football team? I don't know that unless Ben Roethlisberger like turns back the clock in this one and it just starts firing bullets over the middle and stuff. But even then, for me at 39 years of age, I guess the question for me is the level of consistency, right? At 39, do I think he's still capable of that every once in a while? Sure.
I would say the other way.
That over games, I don't think he is.
I would say the other way around, Tony. Losing to the Broncos team at home will essentially it would be like, okay, like this will be like done. Like if you have any hope that this team can be average, just call them average.
Yeah, like 8 and 7, 8 and 9.
They have to win this game. This is
I agree with that. Yeah,
it's winnable. Yeah. The Broncos are coming in injured. They're coming to your home field, right? This is a game that you should win.
All right, let me throw a different theory out there. And I know the back half of the Steelers schedule is really, really tough. But like we talk about how young this team is behind Ben, right? They have this is a team with basically an entire rookie roster on their offensive line, a very, very young secondary, right? A lot of young players, rookie tight end, rookie running back. All of those players you can expect throughout the year are going to get better. And I guess that there is an outside chance that even let's say this team were to start something like 2-6, like they did back in 2013, 2012. Something like that. I guess there's a chance that everything we talked about with this team in the offseason about how they would have a dominant running game, they wouldn't have to trust Ben Roethlisberger as much. I mean, I suppose that there's an outside chance that happens where you see real growth and development. The offensive line gels, Najee Harris starts to play really well, and they can start to win games in the back half of their schedule that way and put together a stretch of like 3 or 4 wins that miraculously gets them somewhere around 7 or 8 wins.
If you play the Steelers. Right, as the year goes by, you dare them to throw, even if they're a bad running team. As soon as Najee breaks form, I'm like, okay, I'm just clamping this guy down. No more running. Let them throw. And let's see if Big Ben can beat you.
Yeah, no, I know, but I'm saying if the offensive line play, I mean, that's how teams play the Browns, but the Browns have a really good offensive line. I'm saying if the offensive line significantly improves between now and then, and the Steelers can run the ball even when teams are trying to stop them. Well, I guess that changes the math a little bit with how the Steelers win games. It's an outside chance.
The trip here says, yo, Q, let Baker know it's okay to play normal. Just because he got a dude who's open 90% of the time, don't mean you need to panic pass. Odell in his head.
Really?
What?
I don't know about that.
He hit the open receiver. In his head. But by the way, when did Baker Mayfield become this wallflower that was so afraid of other people? Like, we're talking about Baker Mayfield, who's probably like the most.
You have to admit, though, Q. No, you have to admit, though. I mean, I would love someone pull up the splits of like Baker Mayfield stats when Odell is in the game and when Odell is not. Because I know that this year you can use the injury excuse, but like, man, there is like a weird split.
It's going 2019 and Freddie Kitchens.
Yeah, but
that's the split.
Like, I'm not ready to say that.
Split. Take out 2019. I really want to see how different those numbers are. But yeah, it's pretty much like most of that's Freddie Kitchens. Like, but
Yeah, but even last year, he really like when Odell went down. I mean, I know that it's probably not a 1-to-1, but Odell goes down and then Baker looks like real good. Baker at the beginning of this year certainly was not bad, but then he cut. What Odell's first game was? What the Bears game?
It was the Texans game.
No, Odell.
No, he didn't play the second game. I thought it was the third game. Right?
No, it was the Bears game.
It was the Bears game, right? And that's again, I know he got hurt in the Texans game, so yeah, I know. It's like he played bad in the Bears game, but he did get hurt. I guess they said in the Texans game, so he's but it's just an interesting thing to keep an eye on.
It's just a coincidence, to be honest. But like, I just don't believe that Odell. Like, first of all, Odell's not Terrell Owens. Like, he's not screaming at the sideline to get the ball. So there's not this obscene pressure coming from Odell. And then Baker Mayfield, like Baker's a lot of things, good and bad. A lot of things that are very polarizing about Baker Mayfield. The one thing about Baker Mayfield is he's not timid and he's not quiet. I wouldn't describe him in that way. So, no, I don't think that's an issue. And if it were an issue, those are two dudes that if they had an issue, we would know because we could see it on the sideline.
Sonny, I'll have the splits ready for next show.
Hey, I will say this, and with this we can close. There's an interesting fact here about the Colts. If they lose this game, will you bench Carson Wentz? Because if he plays, 50% of the snaps, they have to give a first round pick to the Eagles. And if he doesn't play,
you better bench him.
Yeah, if he doesn't, then it's a second, right?
If you're Andrew Berry and we get to the trade deadline and Baker's still playing like this, do you trade OBJ?
Oh, goodness. Tony's trolling. All right, it's time to wrap up the show now. Tony, by the way, Tony.
Yeah, what's happening? I'm just saying, I'm not trying to start a conspiracy here, but I'm just saying like the dates add up, right? The dates add up.
I mean, we'll see the splits. Tony will pull the split.
I'll pull the split.
If you don't have it on Tuesday.
It would be hilarious if they just have a huge game on Sunday.
No, I mean, that's what's going to happen now, but that's only one game. Again, as I said, one game is a coincidence twice,
Guys, thank you for watching the SNR Talk. Make sure you follow all of us on Twitter, including the SNR Talk. So you can troll us. That's okay. You can troll us here. Hey, we'll see you Tuesday. But we'll see who wins, who loses. Take care, guys.
Steelers win. Rest of the division loses. That's my prediction.
Are you listening? Damn.
And the ball is third and 4.